David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, breaking news. The suspect accused of driving a van into a crowd during a pride celebration in Berlin is tracked down and killed by police. One person was killed, more than a dozen others injured. Officials say it was an act of Islamist terrorism. 300,000 people forced to flee their homes as France and Spain battle raging wildfires. France's Bordeaux wine region is burning with a new heat wave on the way. Back here tonight, more than 100 million Americans are bracing for dangerous heat. Triple-digit real field temperatures across the Midwest. A severe weather threat for the Great Lakes moves into the Northeast as two hurricanes churn in the Pacific. The heart-stopping moment at the top of Seattle's Space Needle. Two men climb a glass wall and jump off the observation deck, hanging from parachutes more than 600 feet down. The search tonight for those men. The families plea for information about the American woman who vanished while on vacation in the Caribbean. 100 days until the midterm elections, Democrats and Republicans in a battle for Congress, where things stand with 3 months to go. The summer camp scare. Authorities say 13 children were sickened after eating what is suspected to be mushroom-laced chocolate. The Black Panther reveal, the little boy seen after the credits in Wakanda Forever, and the actor who will star as Prince T'Challa in the next movie. And the high school track star chasing a dream, beating the odds. Tonight's America Strong.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with a day of celebrations in Germany that ended in tragedy after a horrific and deadly terror attack at Berlin's famed Pride Festival. On Saturday, tens of thousands gathered for one of Europe's biggest Pride celebrations. Authorities say a man slammed a van into a crowd. He then allegedly stabbed multiple people with a machete. At least one person was killed and dozens of others injured. Just hours ago, thousands gathered for a vigil honoring the victims. One person says that this was an attack on everything the city stands for: diversity, tolerance, and freedom. Less than 24 hours after the attack, police say the suspect was fatally shot while charging at officers with a knife. Authorities say this was an act of Islamist terrorism. ABC's Britt Clennett leads us off tonight from Berlin.
Tonight, police surrounding this mangled car they say was used in that deadly terror attack in Germany at a pride parade that killed one person and injured over 2 dozen. It took authorities less than 24 hours to track down a suspect on the west side of the city. He was shot and killed after charging at police with a knife. Police are now investigating whether there was another suspect involved. The attack unfolded on Saturday as thousands were celebrating Pride in Berlin for the Christopher Street Day Festival. Police say just before 10 p.m. the attacker drove a white van through Tiergarten Park, right alongside the parade route, slamming into people before hitting a tree. The driver then got out and, armed with a machete, began slashing at bystanders before fleeing, according to authorities. Event organisers seen on stage ending a performance as the manhunt began. Investigators identifying the suspect as 21-year-old Abdul B, saying he had ties to Islamist extremism. Tonight, tributes pouring in from across Germany for the victims, a growing memorial at the scene. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz calling it a despicable act, telling the country, let us not let ourselves be intimidated.
Lindsay, prosecutors said the suspect was arrested in Lebanon last year for trying to join the Islamic State group, while Berlin's mayor is speaking out tonight, saying this attack was an attack on all of us.
Britt, thank you. Now to those fast-moving wildfires raging across Western Europe. Those flames have forced nearly 300,000 people to flee their homes across Spain and France. The wildfires are threatening cities like Madrid and Bordeaux. At least one person has died. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Madrid with the latest.
Tonight, terrifying wildfires fueled by bone-dry conditions and high winds, forcing some 300,000 people in Spain and France to flee their homes. Authorities calling the conditions in France's Gironde region, home to the country's famous Bordeaux wine, among the worst they have ever seen. Fires scorching an area 4 times the size of Paris. Authorities going door to door, telling residents to get out and begging tourists to stay away.
It escalated pretty quickly.
Americans Brendan and Tammy Hutchinson, who live there year-round, among the thousands ordered to get out.
You could see the wind shift, and it really got thick
smoke, and it was real, a lot of ash falling out of the sky.
Home after home in the coastal village of Lopez damaged or destroyed, and there's no end in sight. France bracing for their 4th heat wave this week. Spain declaring their first ever national emergency due to fires. More than 100,000 people either evacuating or ordered to shelter in place. Outside Valencia Saturday, authorities say a 78-year-old man was found dead, the country's first fire casualty. And today, the Pope referencing the devastating wildfires, inviting all to pray for those affected and the rescuers. Lindsay, authorities say that fire burning outside Madrid and Avila is now the largest in recent Spanish history. It has burned nearly 200 square miles so far, and reinforcements now coming in from Portugal, Greece, and even Turkey. Lindsay.
Really staggering to see those images. Marcus, thank you. Now to the dangerous heat back here in the U.S. More than 100 million Americans are on alert for this extreme heat from the Southwest and Midwest. Let's get right to ABC's meteorologist Leslie Lopez. So, Leslie, how dangerous is this heat we're talking about?
It is quite dangerous. We're talking about a long-duration heat wave. So as we're going to see a large area of the nation dealing with heat alerts. We're down into the Southwest, into the interior of the nation. That's extreme heat warnings, advisories, and also watches. We do have temperatures over into the Midwest getting up to 110 degrees. That's that feels like temperature with the humidity added. 112 for Des Moines, and all that heat and humidity will fuel the threat for severe weather. This is going to be a 3 out of 5 threat level for destructive winds, very large hail, isolated tornadoes from Milwaukee all the way up to Duluth, and it's been an active season in the Pacific. 2 hurricanes, Genevieve and also Fausto. Genevieve will stay away from the coast, but you get out towards Fausto, swiping just north of the Hawaiian Islands, bringing with it elevated surf and also the danger of rip currents. Lindsay.
So much activity that you're monitoring. All right, Leslie, thank you. Now to the massive wildfires burning across Oregon and Washington state. Nearly 50 large fires have scorched more than 1 million acres. Thousands have been forced to leave their homes in Oregon. Some of those fires were triggered in the state last week by more than 8,000 lightning strikes in just a 24-hour period. Now to that stunning scene at Seattle's iconic Space Needle. 2 base jumpers scaled the glass wall of the observation deck and then jumped off the landmark before deploying their parachutes. Onlookers watched in disbelief. They are now facing criminal charges of trespassing. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Tonight, this is the shocking moment. Police say 2 men illegally climbed a glass wall on the observation deck of Seattle's iconic Space Needle and jumped off before deploying parachutes. Onlookers stunned.
Clean sector a hazard at the Space Needle. Security's calling in 15 minutes ago. 2 people jumped off the Space Needle observation deck with parachutes. I don't know where they landed.
The incident unfolding just before 9 p.m. on Friday. Video showing one man standing on the ledge, doing a backflip, and then leaping from the 605-foot structure. One parachute seen descending to the ground before vanishing from camera view. Police say the pair, who they identified as base jumpers, entered the Space Needle with purchased tickets that were then scanned. Tonight, authorities are looking for the duo and are unsure of where the men landed. The 2 face charges of committing criminal trespass. It comes just 3 weeks after this masked couple's death-defying climb. 2 Russian nationals scaling to the top of the Empire State Building in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, proposing in front of millions.
And now they're kissing, Kimberly. Actually, to share this with you as bizarre a New York City moment as I've ever seen.
I love this city.
The couple eventually taken into custody and now facing a slew of charges.
Lindsay, a spokesperson from the Space Needle, saying in a statement they are aware of the incident and are working with investigators. Lindsay.
Jacqueline, thank you. Next tonight, a family's desperate pleas for help after an American woman went missing while on vacation in Grenada. The North Carolina mother was last seen on Wednesday heading to the beach for a swim. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
She's an amazing person, and we want to bring her home.
Tonight, there's a desperate search for a missing North Carolina mom who vanished while on vacation in the Caribbean.
It seems that she went down to the pier and left her towel on the pier and went for a swim.
44-year-old Elizabeth Waddell was last seen on a beach on the southern coast of Grenada Wednesday afternoon. Divers and police launching an all-out hours-long search Thursday, but no sign of Liz. Liz flew to Grenada without her husband, Kalen. He's now on the ground in the country to help with the search. He spoke of his wife in an interview with Grenada Broadcasting Network.
My wife is a loving, free-spirited person. She could make friends with anyone. Yeah.
It's been 5 days since her disappearance. Authorities in Grenada now calling on fishermen, boat operators, and residents along the southern coastline to be on the lookout for Liz Waddell.
And Lindsay, the State Department tells ABC News tonight it is aware of reports of a missing person in Grenada, but declined to comment any further. Lindsay?
Morgan, thank you. Today marks 100 days until those critical midterm elections. The Democrats are looking to regain control of Congress while Republicans are trying to hold on to their slim majorities in the House and Senate. Both sides are now trying to seize the momentum. ABC's Christian Cordero joins us now. Hi, Christian.
Lindsay, tonight House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is kicking off the final 100 days of the midterm campaign in battleground Pennsylvania, unveiling Democrats' affordability agenda as the party tries to make the cost of living the closing issue of the race. Jeffries joined Governor Josh Shapiro to rally voters in a critical House district as they try to win back control of Congress. Democrats need to flip just 3 seats to reclaim the House. The Senate is a steeper climb. They'll need to pick up 4 seats there. But the party's path to a majority took a hit this month after Maine Democrats replaced Senate candidate Graham Plattner following a sexual assault allegation he denies, turning to former state Senate President Troy Jackson in a key pickup race. And a new Washington Post Ipsos poll shows the battle for Congress remains tight, with Democrats leading the generic congressional ballot by just 3 points, 48 to 45. President Trump is campaigning for Republican candidates in key battlegrounds, urging voters to protect the GOP's narrow House majority while shoring up support for his second-term agenda, including his voter ID legislation. With 100 days to go, Lindsay, both parties are now racing to define the issues they believe will decide who controls Congress. Lindsay?
So much at stake, Christian. Thank you. Overseas now to the war with Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is heading to the White House on Tuesday for a meeting with President Trump. It comes as the president is considering a major escalation as the war enters its 6th month. ABC's Matt Rivers reports from Jordan tonight.
A pause in the fighting for now. Iranian and U.S. weapons quiet for a second straight day ahead of a consequential week in Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu heading to the White House Tuesday for a meeting with President Trump. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Mike Waltz saying today the lull in fighting is designed to give peace talks some space after claiming diplomatic activity had ramped up between both sides.
Talks are ongoing. They're happening at every level, from the more technical aspect of it all the way to the highest levels.
But tonight, a New York Times report says Trump is also pulling back from escalations with Iran for fear it could dangerously drain the Pentagon's already diminished stockpile of Patriot anti-missile interceptors, crucial for protecting U.S. assets in the region. Today, the U.S. ambassador pushing back on that reporting.
I want to be crystal clear. The U.S. military, and I've verified this every which way, has everything that it needs to conduct this campaign as effectively as it needs to be.
The White House also telling ABC News in part, President Trump has always been consistent in saying he prefers a diplomatic solution, but it would be wise for Iran to work towards a negotiated deal, otherwise they know what will happen. Overnight, ABC confirming all 4 service members killed in Jordan and Iraq this week received posthumous promotions, including Tyler Feehan, promoted to captain. You can see Feehan here when he was commissioned as an officer in the Army, saluting his grandfather. His grandfather died on Thursday, 5 days after Feehan. The family telling us the 2 of them are now together again.
Lindsay, Iran's foreign minister tonight confirming negotiations are ongoing between the U.S. and Iran. The question is, how long does this new ceasefire hold ahead of that planned meeting this coming week between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump? Lindsay?
Matt Rivers for us in Jordan. Matt, thank you. Back here in the U.S., President Trump has ordered the installation of signs at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, warning of, quote, the inaccurate information presented in the museum. Smithsonian officials have not commented on the order, but the museum's director has previously pushed back against the president's criticism. We're learning new details tonight about a man fatally shot by ICE in Houston. The Harris County DA says that a substance found in the van of 51-year-old Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was not drugs. On Saturday, the community held a march and vigil demanding justice for the father of 3. He was fatally shot by ICE officers on July 7th during a traffic stop. Agents allege that he tried to weaponize his vehicle, but witnesses have disputed that claim. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. The investigation after 13 children were sickened at a summer camp. Authorities suspect one camper shared mushroom-laced candies with them. And the bear that snuck into a cabin, making itself right at home, even checking out what was inside the fridge. A mass shooting in Michigan, leaving 5 people injured, one of them in critical condition. Police in Ottawa County near Grand Rapids say that there was a large gathering at the Bass River Recreation Area when an argument broke out. A single shooter is suspected of opening fire. Deputies tracking down the suspect's vehicle, taking 4 people into custody. Next, the investigation after authorities say 13 children in a New Jersey summer camp were sickened after eating what is suspected to be mushroom-laced chocolate. Officials at the YMCA camp in East Orange say one of the campers gave the other children edibles without the knowledge or consent of the staff. Counselors called emergency medical services when they began to show adverse reactions. The children ages 10 to 13 were evaluated and released to their parents. When we come back, the Black Panther reveal who will star in the next movie, taking the mantle from Chadwick Boseman.
So much.
To the Index tonight, a bear making itself right at home at a cabin near Lake Arrowhead in California. The cabin's owner says their surveillance camera recorded the bear approaching while the owner's daughter and 11 of her friends were inside. The bear climbed in through the window, checked out the refrigerator, and then left. Everyone was safe. And a safe return for a joint U.S.-Russian space crew after spending 8 months at the International Space Station. Their capsule floating down on a parachute, landing in the steppes of Kazakhstan. 2 Russian cosmonauts on board, along with the American astronaut Chris Williams. He will soon return to the United States on a flight bound for NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Nearly 20,000 fans packed Chicago's United Center for a high-energy, high-scoring WNBA All-Star game. Team Spoon defeating Team Coop 129-122. Caitlin Clark buried 5 three-pointers. 20-year-old Dominique Malonga made the first WNBA All-Star game dunk. There it is in 4 years. And the biggest honor went to Jonquel Jones, who was named the All-Star MVP after scoring 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. The WNBA is now celebrating its 30th anniversary. Next, the Black Panther reveal. The little boy seen after the credits in Wakanda Forever will be at the center of the next movie at Comic-Con this weekend. Director Ryan Coogler announced that actor David Jonsson will play Prince T'Challa in the movie that's due out in December 2028. Prince T'Challa is the son of the original Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman back in 2020. When we come back, the high school track star athlete named Chase going for gold. Finally tonight, the high school track star chasing a dream and beating the odds.
Come on, Chase, pick it up.
On this high school track in Pennsylvania, every stride this 16-year-old takes on his blades is a reminder of just how far determination can carry us. When Chase Merriweather was just 3 years old, what doctors first believed was the flu turned into septic shock.
And then all my organs just shut down.
To save his life, surgeons had to amputate both of his legs below the knee and both of his arms. A child who loved sports before he could even remember, Chase refused to let what he'd lost define what was still possible.
I got sonic speed.
He learned to play baseball, soccer, and swim. This spring, he found his lane in track.
When I got amputated, I got to figure out how to walk again. I had to figure out how I can play with all my friends again. And now I can show other kids that might be struggling how I figured it out and how they could also figure it out.
Now a rising junior, Chase trains alongside every other athlete on his high school team.
Nice job, walk back.
His coach says there are no special expectations, only the expectation that he'll compete. And time and again, he delivers. This May, Chase captured gold in the ambulatory 400-meter dash at the Pennsylvania State Championships.
Come on, Chase!
Now, his sights are set even higher. The Paralympic Games in Los Angeles in 2028.
If you keep going and never stop trying, you will always chase that dream and will eventually get it. Even if there's obstacles. Yeah, you just gotta run your race. I gotta run mine.
Keep running your race, Chase. Thanks so much for watching. Whit Johnson here tomorrow night. I'm Lindsay Davis in New York. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.